Hi, I'm Marie. So this is my second BookTube channel. We'll see how it goes. So far I have a mic, but I didn't get the right connection, so hopefully I can fix that for next time. And my dog's still in the background, so he'll probably make some noise. I gotta figure out how to deal with that. And I can't figure out how to angle this so there's not glare on my glasses, but that's okay. I'm just gonna keep going. Just keep going. So today this video is gonna be about the last book in the Expanse series, Leviathan Falls. I just finished this 2 days ago. I've been reading the series for, I don't know, like 2 or 3 years now. So that's a while. So I was excited to get to the end. I heard a lot of good things about it. Most people I know who have finished it have given rave reviews for it, but I did feel like it was a little built up, and I don't think I liked it as much as everybody else, unfortunately. That's not to say I didn't like it. I did like the end. I thought it was well done, but it just wasn't, it didn't have as big of an impact on me as I thought as I thought it would, based on what I've heard from other people. And there was just some things that disappointed me about it. So I don't know if anyone else feels like that, but let's get into it. So I'm going to talk about characters first, starting with Holden. Holden, I didn't really have any problems. I thought his story worked well, and it was pretty good how it ended. It made sense for his character. He sacrifices himself all the time throughout the series, so for him to be the ending sacrifice that saves everybody, it's perfectly fitting. It was sad. I liked it. So next I'm going to talk about Amos, and I loved his storyline. His storyline was my favorite of anybody in the books. I was completely surprised by what happened with him. I did not think he was going to become a zombie. And I really liked it. I thought it was interesting. It made me question things. I loved how they went with that for him. I really liked that the last chapter was his chapter. I thought that was exciting and fun, and to make him the protector of humanity and the soul system at the end, this immortal zombie, I thought was really cool, and also fit with his character and his arc as somebody who's always trying to protect people that he deeply cares about. That worked perfectly for me. That was the best part. Then Naomi. So Naomi was one of the disappointing ones for me, unfortunately. I liked her arc, and I liked how she grew in strength and independence in these last 3 books. And I even liked when I liked that they split her and Holden up for a while, and she had to sort of learn to grieve him and be on her own, and we got to see that. But then the very end, I didn't like it. I feel like the whole crew, even if they didn't make it, they still got these epic endings and these huge choices, and they got to go out in the way that they wanted. Like, their stories ended with them doing something that was so them. So even Holden sacrificing himself, that is a perfect ending for him. And Bobby also sacrificing herself in the previous book and shooting at the ship was perfect for her, even though it was sad. Again, I just talked about how I thought Amos' ending worked really well, and I think Alex getting to be with his kid at the end worked too. So yeah, so all their endings worked really well except for Naomi, who I feel like just sort of had this sad end where she didn't really get to make a choice, and she was just going to be alone, and her entire family was gone other than Amos. So her relationship with Jim. I thought that the end of their relationship wasn't good. I didn't like it. And the fact that her ending was just sort of sad, and she didn't get to make a choice, and she was just going to be alone, which wasn't what she wanted. Even though she was strong enough, they showed that she was strong enough to be okay. It was just disappointing to me that that's where her story left off, and it felt more like survival than the other characters. Alex, I just mentioned, he's my least favorite. I don't not like him. I just don't find him as interesting as the other characters in the book, but I thought his ending worked well with him getting to be with his kid. And then Teresa, who is newer on the crew, but I feel like I should talk about her too. I didn't really like hers. Was another disappointing one. I loved her in the previous book. I thought her character was interesting. Her storyline was great. I wanted to know what was going to happen to her the whole time in the previous book. Her growth was great in the previous book, and then in this one, I didn't really like her as much. Like, I understand, it's obviously understandable that she was traumatized and devastated and going through all of these things, but I don't know, she just was sort of didn't connect with anybody. Her relationship with Amos seemed like it had just been disrupted from what happened in the previous book, and then it just never fully recovers. She doesn't really like Jim for most of the book, and she just doesn't seem like she really connects with anybody. She's just kind of there, and she's kind of angry. Well, she is angry. And then she's just traumatized. Her ending is just, she goes through an unbelievable trauma, and then it ends. So both her and Naomi had disappointing endings that just didn't really do anything for me. Then finally we have Tanaka, who I just didn't enjoy her character really in this book. Well, she's in the other books, but as a main character in this book, she's way less interesting than Duarte, and she's the main antagonist of this final book, besides obviously the aliens and Duarte, but she's the one that's mostly in it and that's chasing them. And I just disliked her the whole book. I thought she was sort of like she was sort of just like the evil version of Bobby, like an evil ripoff of Bobby, but really unlikable. And it's not just that I didn't like her. She just wasn't that interesting to me. I didn't care about her chapters. I wasn't that excited for them or like that interested in them for the most part. Her chapters didn't become interesting for me until she started to succumb to the hive mind. And then it was really cool, and I loved all that stuff. But that was way towards the end of this final book. And then even at the end, I don't know, I just hated her. And yeah, she just wasn't as, I think if they had done something with Duarte where he was more in the book, the final book, it would have been a lot more interesting. So her scene where she kills him was really cool, but I don't know, I didn't care about her, so meh. Next, I'm gonna talk about the plot. So I just thought it was fine. I know a lot of people really like the end of this series, or I think they do, at least the people I know do, but, and this might be just a me thing anyway, I just am not as interested in the military and space wars parts of the book. I liked the first 3 books the best, because that was dealing with the proto-molecule more and more of the alien struggles, whereas then I feel like after the first 3, it became a lot more military and space wars issues. And I thought that these last 3 would focus back on alien issues again, which they did, but I always felt like the alien stuff was like floating in the background, like as a like hovering as this big evil, but that they didn't, it was very rarely directly interacted with. Instead, the direct conflicts were with Tanaka chasing them. My dog's hitting the camera stand. The so the yeah, the direct conflicts were with Tanaka chasing the crew, and then again the Laconian issues with the underground, and that was most of the conflict throughout this book and the previous two. And then you don't really get the aliens that much until the very end, and then the end is quick. I liked the stuff with the aliens. I thought that the hive mind situation was cool and fun, and I loved that, and I loved the way that they did it. I just think it could have started 2 books earlier and been more developed. And the aliens could have been in the book more. I know that they're in like, I guess I think it's like another realm, or universe. So the way that they're interacting with this universe would be kind of difficult to put them into it more. But I was just disappointed. I wanted more alien and less military. So overall, I thought it was fine. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. There was parts of it that I liked a lot, but there was more parts that I felt disappointed by. I did love that they brought Miller back at the end, and we got to see some Miller Holden banter before the end. But the ending, I wasn't that emotional about, which also really surprised me, because having spent so much time with all these books with these characters, and then to just not feel that much at the end, that tells me something. That tells me that it just wasn't doing what I really would have liked to see the end of the book do. So see you later. I hope this video is interesting and that the audio wasn't too terrible.